Okay, hello people. This is the fourth movie of the series, H-Block series that I put together. This is the fourth video. Just want to finish up. I had a couple of things that I left out. A few things came in while I was, going over this my theory. And I hope I can, just put a little bit out there, and the next group of people come along. They can, scientists, theorists, researchers, they can maybe use this information and move on forward into the future, gracefully, hopefully. So, H-block assembly techniques. The missing alloy connectors that tie the H-blocks together to create many devices such as artificial gravity machines and protective exterior for spaceships. Alright, copyrighted 2012-2017. This is a work in progress, like any work. Alright, so I'll be fading in and out with depending on the brightness of these pictures. You don't need to see me anyways. I'm just a talking head here. Just here to pass the message along. Puma Punku. This place was a manufacturing facility, who knows when, hundreds of thousands of years, tens of thousands of years ago. And this is where they, harvest the stone, and this in Peru, Bolivia, and basically built everything on the ground and shipped this stuff into space. You're not going to use things like this on Earth. They're primarily for lower gravity, zero gravity environments, and these H blocks have bolt recessed pockets in them, as you can see. And let's see if we can't get me a pointer going. These TVs, they used to reflect the laser beam. Now they kind of just absorbs it, this LED stuff. Anyways, hope you can see that, but you can see the recessed bolt recessed pockets, and you see the H dovetail female joints. That's indicative of the H block. That's the the dovetail, female dovetail part of the joint. So these are basically Lego blocks for all intent and purposes. You're going to make these things real simple. They're going to be different weight sizes. If it goes on to rotational machining, you're going to have different weight sizes just so you can balance these things out. The rotating mass up in space for artificial gravity machines, or propulsion machines or what have you. But the bottom line is there are different sizes for different applications. But overall, they're generally the same shape and size, when it comes to the dovetail sections. And again, Puma Punku, this place is just amazing. It just goes on and on and on. The artifacts, the flat stones, they have andesite, diorite. The softer stones is sandstone. There's all sorts of traces of very, very high engineering technology that was done there in the past. Again, not too far away from there, you have this whole mountain leveled off, where it looks like from Google Earth, it looks, or from a plane flying over, it looks like an airport, really. So you would fly down, pick these things up, launch them off into space, and assemble a space station for all intent and purposes, or some kind of a spaceship. And the point that I'm driving home with the H blocks is they were, possibly used as an armor or shield for a lighter spacecraft, so you could, skip across the solar system, the different planets, go to our moon, go to Mars, what have you. You could be up in space and not worry about a grain of sand coming in at a couple 100,000 miles an hour, taking out the whole spacecraft. So, and that's the real danger up there. Meteorites, even worse. You're gonna have a bad day. You're in your little tin can, your beer can that we're flying around in with the space shuttle, and the rockets that we put up there. It's just not a good environment to be in deep space. So That in mind, I'm just throwing a couple of pictures up here. You have some H blocks stacked together. You know, they're kind of like, you know, they fit together. Somebody did a little graphic here. I don't think they were put together like this. I think they were, you know, facing each other, as you'll see in a few more pictures ahead. And but you know, it's just an idea, anyways. It's just concepts and ideas. I'll show you what these things are doing. Here's a lovely person out here in Puma Punku. Again, you can see this stuff is flat. That's a flat piece of andesite. Who knows, a couple of thousandths of an inch off from one end to the other. Smooth as glass. And you know, you can see some cuts in it. So you could actually have a piece of this making up a wall of your your space station, where you know, the H blocks would come in and support this, you know, and attach to it. So basically, you're more or less you'll be creating some kind of a rectangular garage space for a light, you know, like a you know, the shuttle or something to fly up and launch up and then dock inside of this thing before you go and you know, go for a you know, a couple of 100 million mile trip or a 1 million mile trip or a 250,000 mile trip to the moon. So this is what you're going to need to protect your assets, protect yourself really against flying debris and radiation. Here is some graphs that I drew up, some drawings, and basically the things in red are alloys. Those are alloy pieces that actually are dovetail in shape. They're the male dovetail pieces that fit into the female dovetail section of the H block. They have you know, bolt screws that fit into the recessed areas of the H blocks, where I pointed out in the last earlier two images. And for the most part, you can stack these. You know, they got right angle turns. You can have a right angle. You can put these H blocks going across, like for a roof and a floor. You just put in the you know, the right angle pieces up in the corner, and then you add in the vertical stacked or horizontally stacked straight male dove joint connectors. Again, they go in, and then you tighten the bolt up that goes into that recess spot, and it tightens up the dovetail joint. You know, it's just it meshes it right in with the alloy and the stone. It's good forever. Pretty simplistic. This is the type of design you'd want in space if you're assembling this with you know, a 0G floating around with you know, Clooney and Sandra Bullock. You know, they might be going back up to assemble this thing if we skip a couple of generations to get this technology, start to you know, incorporate it into our space programs. But anyways, this is it. I mean, these are, you know, I'm in engineering. I'm a builder. You know, you know, I've been in this world of mechanics and mechanical engineering, stationary engineering, power plant engineering, electrical engineering, you name it. So these things are you know, in service today. Not in this application, but these joints and methodologies for tightening up a dovetail joint with the bolt, and presses up against the back of the H block. It squeezes the alloy into the dovetail joint and locks it in. This stuff's being used today. You know, this technology is fairly simplistic and you know, common. So right up here we see the you know, the back of the H block. They have when they gouged out the female side, like I said in the earlier videos, they gouged out the female dovetail side. When they cut the rest of the stone, they left a big giant chunk of mass on the back to keep the integrity and strength of the stone. So obviously these things are set up to withstand a large amount of torque, whether it's rotational torque or just you know, what do you call it? You know, so just some kind of a axial stress or you know, lineal stress. It's going to you know, be able to handle it, and the stone is not going to fail and break down over time. This is more of a simpler breakdown. You get the H block, and this is, yeah, you know, you can go across one room of, you know, across I don't know, 300 feet, 100 feet, and tie to the other H block for rotational equipment or machinery. And again, you have the dovetail type of the red dovetail end. You can see, so this large H block spoke hammerhead is dovetail on the end of it. It would have the dovetail design, and again, you have the recesses right up here, right there, where in the H blocks, where you see the bolts go in there. They're you know, they're oblong or rectangular squares. So you'd have something on the, like a you know, a floating washer or something like that, a soft tip, so it wouldn't be the bolt just digging right into the H block stone. It would be something that would spin around and just fit that slot pretty evenly, and you just take up on the bolt and tighten that joint right up. It's not going anywhere. Anyways, I think that's enough for there. So you get the gist. Stop the video, zoom in on it. I've got pretty good. It's a pretty good breakdown of the connections and how you can make a rectangular, you know, garage for a spacecraft in space. You know what I mean? A spaceship in space. It'd be a rectangular structure. You pull your ship in, you dock it, tie it off, and then close the door, and you'd have some kind of propulsion system on the outside of it and zip you off to Mars or the moon or wherever you want to go. Again, this is your lightweight craft, gets you off of Earth up to the H block constructed space station, and you go to Mars or the moon, and then you take something like this. Obviously, it probably need something a little bit more capable of taking off and landing. Although a lot of these spaceships have been, you know, landing vertically. They'll take off vertically and they'll cruise horizontally, but they can also land vertically also. So that might be a viable propulsion system in another planet, but you got to have some atmosphere. You know, you can have much lift. So, anyways, that's not what I'm getting off topic here. I'm not a you know, spaceship engineer. So this is basically a breakdown of your assembled H block spaceship docking station. Right, it's all assembled. It's all made up of H blocks and all the ties, the alloy ties, all cranked together. You go in, you know, you latch in, latch up, and tie your machine off so it doesn't get hurt. And just like Lord Bacall here, he's got his spaceship, and you can see he's inside of the garage. It could be a frame, but I figured I'd add a little ad lib here, so kind of add to the story and make it a little interesting. Yeah, you never know. Could represent H blocks, an H block construction. So he's protected inside this H block cocoon, if you will, and he's cruising around. He doesn't have to have the aerodynamic shape in space that you would have to have in an atmosphere of 15 or 14.7 psi that we have on Earth. You're in space. You could have a big giant, you know, block. It's still going to go as fast as something that's you know, shaped like a bullet. You know, there's no resistance to speak of. So again, just picked that out. I thought that was a pretty cool anomaly. Here's something that's pretty massive. This it's like a spaceship. I don't know if that picture's coming out good or not, but anyways, I mean, this thing looks like it's made out of stone, and that's basically what I'm talking about. You know, you have to have a stone armor on the outside of your real complicated technical equipment. It's just not going to withstand a hit. So hey, who knows? You know, over time you're going to adapt and make the stone ship or a stone space station right there, like they did in Puma Punku, and ship it off into space, assemble it, and maybe we can get serious about you know, going to Mars or the moon or whatever. And again, it's you know, it's the places that we need to get to. This environment Earth and we have the moon. There's remnants on Earth, on Moon, on Mars, that there's been some kind of obviously lost civilizations that have come and gone, lost to the sands of time, and they've left their marks. They left remnants around the globe, around the universe, around our solar system, anyway. So. I got a new book out. There is something about the moon. tsatmoon.com is the website. Co-wrote the book with Wendy Salter, a very good friend of mine. And there's images on the moon. So these people, they were making these space stations. They weren't just sitting around floating around in lower orbit. They were taking off. They were going to the moon, hanging out there, coming back, like Elon Musk there is trying to do. So. This is, we repeat ourselves. We ascend to a real high technologically advanced society, and then we, for whatever reason, lead in the water, I don't know, we just drop right off and we go back into the Stone Age. And maybe it's just the environment of the Earth that does it to the human mind. It could be the Ice Ages, 104,000 year Ice Age. The brain's not working too good at sub-zero. You're just hunter-gathering at that point. But interglacials, we really seem to take off as a species. And again, these are images on the moon. You can, unbeknownst to most of the world, people have, that's a cobra actually, and it's over on the top right hand side of the moon. You got a human face, a claw, and that claw represents Cancer, the Tropic of Cancer on Earth, and you have the Tropic of Capricorn on the bottom, below the image of the man, which you'll see in more detail in this next photo, this next image. And again, this is what these people were doing. They were going back and forth from Earth to the moon in these armor-plated stone armor-plated space stations. And the moon, come to find out, is a very technologically advanced piece of equipment. It is a clock, it's a calendar, and the images on this moon that you can see right here, the artist rendition on the right, and this is just a natural picture of the moon itself, and you can see the images. It doesn't take much to draw in the images and get them back into perspective with the dark coloring that they used up there to make these images. Ironically, there isn't any real dark images on the dark side of the moon, so it's actually the bright side of the moon. There's probably like a little dot of darkness over there. So what are the odds that the face of the side of the moon that faces us actually has dark spots on it, that actually have images on it, that actually represent something? And in my book, the moon actually rotates based on the ice-water ratios on Earth, and when the Earth tilts because of the moon's drag, your orientation of this thing changes too. So right now we're in the age of Capricorn and Man, and eventually the Cobra will come down about 1800 and 8 o'clock rather, and with the Claw it'll be the age of Cobra and the Claw. You see the age of Cobra in a lot of the steles with Akhenaten and Nefertiti, misrepresented as the sun, the solar people, the priest. What are we going to do with these priests? The Egyptian priest gone wild. Anyways, getting off a little topic. Not really though, This is my website, pyramidgravityforce.com. It's my book, Pyramid Gravity Force, and my second book was There Is Something About the Moon, the website, tsatmoon.com. Of course, Morpheus is asking you want to take the blue pill, the red pill. I took both of them. You get a better interpretation of what's going on in the world. You get better contrast, Anyways, the red's reality, really. You go to reality. The blue, you just shut this off and don't give it another thought, and everything's going to be fine. But the red side, it's a head rush. There's so much more stuff going on out there. So much more, discovery, inventions, It's just a great puzzle. It's a never-ending puzzle, really. So keep your mind occupied forever and ever and ever, for many, many hundreds of lifetimes and more. So, again, John Shaughnessy here. Subscribe, subscribe.